Person-centered approach. As it is the term learner-centered and teacher-centered, so is person-centered approach used for the activities. Person-centered approach is quite close to learner-centered approach. So the person who is involved in the activity should be responsible for doing the activity. So in a way, if the teacher is having this activity with the students, then it will be called learner-centered approach. But in case it is not a classroom, it is a club and there are other people who are participating and they are not necessarily the students, this activity has to be done by the persons who are involved in the activity, and therefore it will be called person-centered activity. Create a plan for implementing an activity for an individual, which includes aims, purpose, description of the activity, and the resources required. So what are the factors which we need to look at when we want our learners or the people who are involved in an activity to participate fully in that activity and the learning outcome to be at a high level? So the first thing that we need to do is to create a plan. Without a plan, haphazardly, things cannot be started. We definitely need to have a plan A and also plan B in circumstances when things can get out of control. So not only plan A is important, but also while designing an activity or creating an activity, it is important to have plan A and plan B, so that if something goes wrong with the plan A, plan B may be followed in order to get the activity done. The next thing that is important is that whatever the plan is, it has to be seen that it is possible to implement it. That means it is realistic and it is practical. Plans should not be such which cannot be implemented. Then it is a waste of time, and when these plans cannot be implemented, there is a lot of frustration and sometimes depression amongst the learners. So it is very important for the teacher to assess whether certain activity or certain plan which is there for the students to follow, whether it is realistic or not, whether it is practical or not, whether the learners would be able to implement it feasibly and with a lot of keenness and interest. If these things cannot be implemented, the students cannot face the frustration of failure, and sometimes they get disinterested in studies. So it is very important for the teacher to see to it that whatever plan is being created, it has to be feasible, practical, and realistic. What else do we need to look at when we are creating an activity? We have to look at the individual for whom we are creating the activity. We have to look at the profile of the individual, what is he interested in, and what will he be able to do in order to learn. Another thing, that there must be some aim with the activity. The aim should be very clear to the students and the learners. An activity without the aim would be just very shallow, and people will just forget about it very soon, because there was no aim, there was no target, there was nothing that the students or the learners were looking for. Therefore, the activity must include some aim in it. Also, a purpose to do thing. For example, if the spelling bee is being done in the classroom, the purpose is to improve the spellings of the students, to make the students realize how to learn spellings. Also, there can be an aim that there is going to be a competition in the school and the students are going to participate in that spelling competition, and the aim is to get more grade in that competition or to win the trophy that is supposed to be for the best speller in the school. So this could be one of the aim which motivates the students to participate in an activity. Description of the activity. It is very important for the teachers to describe the activity and make it possible for the students to know about it and get information of what will be the resources required for that activity, so that the students have a good understanding of the classroom activity that has been created by the teacher and themselves.